So apparently, riding over the success and the hype of this movie, they're thinking about doing Cocaine Shark, and then somebody else was already making Meth Gator. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to announce my movie, The Fentanyl Lion. It's a movie starring me and my cat about a lion that does fentanyl. What happens? I guess we're gonna find out. Also introducing the ketamine llama, also featuring the weed worms. It's also gonna be super funny if like down the line they're gonna make like the drug animal Avengers, bring their drug powers together to fight evil. Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Sev. Welcome back to my channel. I just saw Cocaine Bear and I have some opinions, so let's talk. So Cocaine Bear is a movie that's had a lot of hype around it for a while now, ever since it got announced, honestly. It's obviously about a bear that did cocaine, as the title implies. The IMDb description says, an oddball group of cops, criminals, tourists, and teens converge on a Georgia forest where a huge black bear goes on a murderous rampage after unintentionally ingesting cocaine. This movie was directed by Elizabeth Banks, written by Jimmy Warden, and has a stacked cast consisting of Kerry Russell, Alden Ehrenreich, who you may know as Han Solo from the Han Solo movie, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Ray Liotta, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., Brooklyn Prince, Christian Convery, and the esteemed character actress Margot Martindale, among many others. So as I mentioned previously, Elizabeth Banks directed this movie, which is not the first person I'd think of to direct a Cocaine Bear movie. Obviously, she's starred in a lot of roles in movies before, but this is her third time directing a movie. In the past, she's done the 2019 Charlie's Angels remake, Pitch Perfect 2, and a segment of movie 33, which I have not seen, but I've heard not the best things. I don't know if it's entirely her fault, because I know it's like segments of the movie, like with different directors, but you know, not a great look. And, you know, these things didn't really attain my expectations of the movie. There's honestly not a lot of things I can spoil about this movie, but there's still gonna be a little spoiler section at the end, because there's two things that I really want to talk about that are just So comedy movies have never really been fantastically received by critics or audiences. It's always been kind of this weird genre. So the question is, did this movie give me enough laughs to be worth the ticket price? Yeah, I think it did. So let's start off with the plot. Was it great? No. Was it bearable? Yes. This movie followed a lot of different characters that all had their little personal stories going on. I think there were a little bit too many characters, to be honest, but none of them were really truly insufferable. The concept in itself is already something that like a middle schooler that smoked weed for the first time would come up with.
Hey man, you don't be crazy.
It's definitely not the most interesting story in the world. It definitely is for the purpose of seeing a bear do cocaine. That is what you're there to see, and that's what the movie gives you. Everyone's performance in the movie was pretty good, except for one of the main actresses, Kerry Russell, who played the mom of one of the kids. Her lines seemed forced, which I don't blame her when you're working with a cocaine bear that does not exist in a forest where you just have to fucking imagine a cocaine bear. I don't blame her, but it was still not the best. This movie took a little while to get going because it would only briefly show the bear in a few scenes in the first like 30 minutes of the movie. Besides that, it's just working on introducing all the characters, which I think there were one or two too many. Some of them had little to nothing to do with the movie besides just being killed. So one thing about this movie that's not a positive nor a negative was that it felt strangely like a straight-to-DVD movie, like a B-movie feeling with mainstream actors. Think something like the Scary Movie series, you know, I think what gave it this feeling was the cinematography and the music. The music in this movie weirdly felt like it was something you'd find like royalty-free on YouTube. And the cinematography was kind of just meh. It was just meh. There's nothing really creative. It was just meh. It was just over the shoulder. It was nothing spectacular, but I didn't expect much anyway. But alright, let's cut all the BS. Nobody cares about the cinematography or the acting in a comedy movie. People are there for jokes. Was this movie funny? That's what people care about. And let me tell you, it was. It was pretty funny. However, it was not like a laugh out loud kind of funny movie. I was just like, it had some pretty funny jokes, some funny concepts, some funny scenarios, but nothing like gut-busting funny. However, my theater was filled with boomers. I don't know if I went to a boomer special screening. The average age of a person in my theater was probably 50. People were pissing themselves laughing. They were hysterically laughing at anything that happened. If I was this emoji, they were this emoji. So unfortunately, just like most of my reviews, the comedy in this movie was its biggest flaw and its biggest strength. So the flaw with the comedy in this movie is that it felt really mean-spirited. It felt like a mean movie. If you've seen the trailer, you know that there's gonna be kills and deaths in this movie. Unfortunately, most of them felt super fucking mean. I felt really bad for the characters in this movie. Like, when characters died, not only the boomers in my theater were not laughing either. Nobody was laughing at the deaths in this movie, which were super gruesome and violent for a movie that is toned like a comedy. Through the music, the colors, the comedy in this movie, you know that this movie is a comedy. Yet, it does shit that you'd see in a slasher horror movie where some random serial killer just goes around killing people. Completely innocent, good people died gruesome deaths for no reason whatsoever. Like, yeah, this bear has no motive except that it wants cocaine, which is why it is weird to see good people die for absolutely no reason. Like, I'm gonna go into more detail in the spoiler section, but to give an example, the very first kill, the very first scene of the movie, you see two campers happily in love, talking about getting married, having kids on this hike, beautiful scenery, and all of a sudden this fucking coked out bear shows up out of nowhere, kills one of the hikers, and the other hiker just watches it all happen. It sets a weird tone for the movie. There weren't any jokes that were cracked, it was just a fucking gruesome death to start off a movie. If they changed the coloring and the music in this movie, this could straight up be a slasher horror movie. Like, actually, hold up. I'm gonna do something for y'all. I'm actually gonna do this. Like, you see, through the power of color correction and some music, I was able to turn the trailer for this movie into a horror movie. I don't know if this is the writer's fault or the director's fault, but anyway, it just feels fucked up. Most people going, ugh. It just made people uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable to watch those people die. The deaths in this movie did have that holy shit factor. Like, I can't believe I just saw that and that happened to that character. Even if I did laugh at some of those deaths, it was more of like, I can't believe they just did that, or I can't believe they died in such a gruesome way. So I kind of want to compare this movie to Terrifier 2 again, because the deaths in Terrifier 2, you know, Art the Clown just kills completely innocent people in gruesome ways. It's a horror movie. It's supposed to be really fucked up. The laughter that you're gonna get out of watching that is through the ridiculousness of the kills, but the tone of the movie is kind of like, it is supposed to be fucked up. Like, you should be feeling fucked up. But in this movie, woo! See that fucking ambulance driver? He just ate shit and died! It's like a weird, mean humor, you know? I really wonder what the writing room for that movie looked like.
Alright guys, so there's gonna be a bear, there's gonna be mad people. He's gonna just fucking kill all of them. He's gonna fucking kill them. He's gonna kill them all. It's gonna be so fucking funny. It's gonna be funny.
And nobody stopped him. Nobody stopped him and was like, yeah. There were also like two really stupid things in the movie. One of them, there's a stupid hammered on plot twist that happens. It was a completely unnecessary plot twist that added additional characters to the movie that I didn't even want in the first place. Oh, there's also a part with the most hammered on like morale message of the movie. If you've ever seen South Park, you know that in some episodes they usually have a moral message of the episode to summarize it at the very end. Like, after all the crazy shit that happened throughout the episode, Stan goes,
Hey guys, you know, I learned something today.
and you know, he goes on about some message. They did that, but between two characters that have never met at the worst time possible, when one of their lives is literally endangered, and spits the most fucking bullshit message ever. It didn't even fucking make sense for the movie. It was completely fucking stupid, unnecessary, and hammered on. Alright, this is the spoiler section. Spoiler warning, spoiler. If you still want to watch this movie, go watch it and then come back another time. So the plot twist in this movie, they came at the end of Act 2. When it happened, I was like, who? What? Where? Why? The plot twist was that one of the detective's assistants that was babysitting his dog was in on it the entire time. For what reason? Why? Who is she? Like, I did not even know her name. She has no motive. There was no reason for us to even think that she would ever do that. I forgot she was even in the movie. She was in like 2 scenes before she showed up. And then when she did show up for the plot twist, she left right after. She literally just showed up to go, aha, gotcha. It was so stupid. It was so unnecessary. I don't know why it happened. And then she lived. If anything, she deserved to die just because she did that. The hammered on message in the movie was right before the climax, when the main drug dealer and the family, like the 2 kids and the mom, one of the kids was like, you know what? You're a bad person and friendship wins, or something like that. It was dumb, it was unnecessary, it was stupid. It was not even the message of the movie. The message of the movie was drugs are bad and they should have just fucking stuck with him. It might have been that. It honestly might have been that. I don't even remember at this point. But it was still so stupid and necessary that, you know, I don't know. I don't know why it was in the movie. All right, so here's a list of all the characters in the movie. 11 of them died. All the people in green are good, innocent people. All the people in red are the bad guys. And the people in yellow, they're kind of like in the middle, could go either way, honestly. And here's who died. Here's who died. Only one bad guy died. Two of the main bad guys were like the main characters and we're kind of supposed to root for them, but they're still like drug dealers and murderers. It's just kind of fucked up to see the bad guys walk out pretty much unharmed while all the innocent good people just die because of them. I don't know if I'm the only person that thought this way, but it just felt fucked up to me. To be fair, the 3 yellow guys are punks. They're just like the 3 weird guys that were in the forest and they found coke and then they try to mug one of the drug dealers. That is the worst that they did. They try to mug one of the drug dealers with a knife. And then the drug dealer beat the shit out of them. So they already got what they deserved. And then they went and helped them. They helped the drug dealers. And then they still all got murked. Not only did they all die gruesome deaths, they died one by one, and they found out about each of their deaths until the last one, he was like on a mental breakdown because his friends fucking died gruesome deaths by a cocaine bear. The 2 tourists that I talked about in the beginning, the 2 hikers, so the wife died in the beginning, and then later on, they find the guy that saw his wife get eaten by the bear, and he's just traumatized. He's traumatized, and he's just sad, but he still helps like our main characters. And then he dies too. For what reason? He was completely innocent. He helped the main characters and he still got murked. The 2 paramedics that show up to help the esteemed character actress Margot Martindale, and then they do their best to save at least one of the, and then all 3 of them die in fucking ambulance because they had like coke on their clothes and the bear was chasing them. They all die. They're all like laying on the sidewalk, bloody and dead. And then the bear walks up to them, just like does coke over their bodies and walks away. Like it's both funny and unfunny at the same time. It's like this weird line that they're towing. All right, so overall, this movie was pretty funny. You know, it's nothing extraordinary. It's a funny movie that I think you should probably go see. It's worth the money, but it does feel pretty mean-spirited at times. But I did walk out happy that I saw it. I think it's worth seeing, but it's not something you're gonna regret if you miss. So overall, I'm gonna give this movie a B-, pop it in the B tier. It's not something extraordinary. I got a couple chuckles out of it. Definitely not a must-see, but if you're bored with your friends on the weekend, this might be something you want to watch. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe below. Leave a comment about what you thought of Cocaine Bear and what kind of animal drug movies you'd like to see in the future. Alright, that's it. See you next week in my Terrifier 1 and 2 review, unless there's something good comes out over the weekend that I forgot about. There's a Demon Slayer movie. Demon Slayer movie will be coming out. I'm going to be reviewing that. Otherwise, it's going to be Terrifier 1 and 2. Goodbye. So, as the title implies, Cocaine Bear is obviously about a cocaine. Fuck. It's about a bear that did cocaine. Not a cocaine, though, that bear.